Hello, this is Adam King. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this video. I'm going to share a word with you today that I believe is life-changing. It'll change everything about your life and the way you see yourself and the way you live. I want to talk to you today about changing the conversation. Changing the conversation. So many times we just get involved in all kinds of conversations. Small talk that just doesn't seem to be all that important, usually because it's not all that important. But we're talking about making every conversation and changing everything we say to become important and to become powerful. And so over here in the Gospel of Matthew, I want to read some scriptures, and then we're going to go to the Gospel of Luke and read some scriptures concerning the same issue. So if you would, turn to Matthew chapter 27. And let's take a look, starting in verse 38. Then were there two thieves crucified with him, speaking of Jesus here, on the right hand and another on the left. And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads, and saying, Thou that destroyest the temple, and buildest it in 3 days, save thyself. If thou be the Son of God, come down from the cross. Likewise also the chief priests, mocking him with the scribes and elders, said, He saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in God, let him deliver him now, if he will have him. For he said, I am the Son of God. Now pay attention to this 44th verse. The thieves also, which were crucified with him, cast the same in his teeth. Now notice that these thieves were hung with him, and they both were railing accusation at Jesus. They both were sounding like the crowd. Their conversation was equally as accusable as the others. But something happened on the cross concerning these two thieves that I want you to see over in the Gospel of Luke. So let's go on over there to Luke chapter 23, and we're going to start reading in verse 39. Chapter 23, Luke 23, verse 39. And one of the malefactors, which were hanged, railed on him, saying, If thou be Christ, save thyself and us. But the other, answering, rebuked him, saying, Dost not thou fear God, seeing thou art in the same condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we receive the due reward of our deeds. But this man hath done nothing amiss. And he said unto Jesus, Lord, remember me when thou comest into thy kingdom. And Jesus said unto him, Verily I say unto thee, today shalt thou be with me in paradise. Now notice that one of these thieves changed his conversation. Now I think this is really crucial because their conversation was placing them in the midst of the crowd, saying the same thing the crowd was saying. But one of them decided, something happened on this cross. He got a revelation, or, when you're in some kind of pain or you're in the struggle, you begin to look at your life just a little bit differently. And he saw something about his life and the life of Jesus that made him change his confession. He said, now, we deserve what we're getting because we're guilty of what we have done. But this man, Jesus, he's done nothing. And he's crucified. And we're casting accusation on him. But you know what? We deserve this. He doesn't. And he turns to Jesus and he said, Lord, he said, please remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus said, today you shall be with me in paradise. Now, the interesting thing I want you to see is that Jesus didn't say anything to the other thief. He only responded to this other thief's conversation because the man's conversation changed. He no longer talked against him. He talked for and on behalf of the position that Jesus was providing. And that is, you can be with me in paradise. Now, the point I really want to bring out to you is this. Jesus was not so concerned about that thief who changed his conversation being in a literal place called paradise with Jesus. Remember, the Bible tells us throughout the New Testament that we are to put the Lord on. We are to imitate him, to follow him, and that's what follow means, imitate. We are to act like him. And so when this thief said what he did, Jesus said, imitate me. You'll be with me in paradise. You will put me on. So you have an identity change here. And with that identity change becomes a new conversation. He said, you'll be with me today. And what caused Jesus to say that to the man is because he did change his conversation. Remember, the Bible says, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. And that is a qualifier that lets us know that we can now expect the life that comes from the new conversation to be applied to our life, our situation, the struggles we face. The Word is spirit and it's life. That's what Jesus said in John 6:63 or something like that. And his words were spirit and their life. And he said, the spirit that raised Jesus from the dead, if it dwell in you, it'll quicken your mortal body. This same spirit, well, what is it? It's the same spirit of the Word where Jesus talks from. So he said, when you change your conversation, which this day you have done, he said, then you will be with me, or you will put me on. My presence will now dwell with you. And that presence, Jesus said, I will dwell with you. What is that part of him that dwells with us? He said, I am the resurrection and the life. And of course, we know that after Jesus was raised from the dead, the graves were open. And I believe that this thief came out of that grave wearing resurrection power. That's why he said, this day you'll be with me in paradise. See, when you're wearing the glory, friends, when resurrection power is upon you, then that is called paradise. It's heaven on earth. The Bible tells us in the book of Deuteronomy that there should be days of heaven upon the earth. What is that? It's you with the presence of God. It's you walking in Eden again, where God is walking with you and talking with you. That takes a conversation change. As a matter of fact, the change of conversation is what makes it happen. Jesus already finished the work, friends. He died and caused you through his death to live again. But the conversation must go from death to life. From death to life. And his life is in his word. And when you talk like him, his life begins to be applied to your life and your situation. Friends, please remember that. Go to the word. Look at the illustrations I've put on here. Go back and study this video. Just download it into your device. And then see if what I'm saying is not true. It is the truth all the way. And it'll save you. It'll save you today in every situation that you face. Look, I tell you, I want you to be able to go, after you watch this video, go to my daughter and my son's channel, YouTube channel. My daughter's name, Amanda King, and my son, you'll find his channel under JCK Production. And he does a bunch of music and all. You'll really enjoy that. Well, look, until we meet again, God bless you. Bye-bye.